Is starting sim racing actually worth it? That's not an easy question because, let's face it, most of us are not rich. But do you actually need to be rich? Or is there even more to it than just a price tag? That's exactly why I'm doing this video. I will share my experience with sim racing to help you decide if starting sim racing is actually worth the trouble at home. So before we talk about money and gear, there is one thing you need to understand first. And that's what sim racing actually is.
Sim racing is virtually driving a car.
That's the easy answer, but I'm not a fan of easy stuff. That's actually why I am married and have 3 children. So I like to answer that question differently. Sim racing is what you make of it. And I want to explain what I mean by that with a little story. This is Beamon Budley. Beamon has no idea about motorsport, but he loves fast cars and video games. And once Beamon falls down the rabbit hole of a cool hobby, the chances of him purchasing unnecessary equipment are about 100%. So after almost a year of saving money and watching comparison videos at 2 o'clock in the morning, he finally has all the gear to start sim racing. And guess what? Beamon actually wins his 3rd ever online race. Of course, his best friend, Max Verstappen, is very proud of him. But then something happens. Beamon stops winning. He crashes, blames others, gets frustrated and jumps straight into the next race, just like any other online game. But Beamon paid a shit ton of money for all that gear, so to justify his spending to himself and whoever might not be happy about that gear, he changes his strategy. He starts to focus, he watches replays, thinks about his decisions and prepares better for races. He drives fewer races now and suddenly every race means more. Without even realizing it, sim racing transitioned from fun video game to meaningful passion. And that's what I mean by it's what you make of it. I expected sim racing to be something fun to kill time with, and yeah, it can absolutely be that, but for me it became something else. I'm not just playing a game anymore. I've heard this phrase before, the cars aren't real, but the racing is. And that's 100% true. The pressure is real. The responsibility for your results and the drivers around you is real. The improvement is real. It feels like back when I played football in a club as a kid, training during the week and match on the weekend, and the results mattered. And the better you get, the more serious your competition gets. And that's when it clicks. You feel the respect, you feel the standards, you feel that everyone around you takes it just as seriously as you do. And that's when sim racing stops feeling like a game and starts feeling like something that adds real quality to your life. Now, of course, that's just one way to experience sim racing. And that's what makes it so beautiful. You can also drive in career mode, simulate a full season in your favorite F1 team or in your favorite GT car. You can learn how to drift. You can drive a massive truck across Europe, transporting totally legal goods, or just drive around in Forza with a couple of friends. For me, since I started, my focus has been on online racing on iRacing because the competition there is as real as it gets.
Yeah, boy.
And to me it just doesn't get boring. There is so much depth and variety in this hobby that even if one day it does get boring, I can honestly say it was absolutely worth it. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, money. I don't know how many times throughout the years I walked past the G29 wheel and pedal set in a store and thought, but those $250 were just too much for me. At that time it just didn't feel worth it. But here's the thing, if something truly adds value to your life, money stops being the most important argument. Now that does not mean max out your credit card and hope that your future self figures it out, but it does mean
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Now, let's be honest, there is not really a cheap way to start sim racing. I mean, yes, you can get a used belt-driven wheel and some potentiometer pedals, but let me tell you why I don't think this is a good idea. Because quality in sim racing matters a lot. And I don't mean buy the most expensive stuff. I mean, don't sabotage your sim racing experience with gear that makes it feel like a toy. Because here is what happens. You buy the cheapest wheel, you clamp it to a desk, the pedals slide around, the chair moves under braking, and then you say sim racing is over overrated. Then yeah, you probably are right. The way you experienced it, SimRacing was overrated. So even if you are unsure if SimRacing is actually something for you in the long term, don't go cheap. Then go used, but at least mid-tier. That way, if you love SimRacing, you already have solid gear, and if you don't, you sell it again for the same price you paid. But at least the reason you quit won't be because the equipment ruined your experience. And honestly, that's a smart approach for everybody. There is so much different gear out there and not many places where you can try that stuff out. I did that too. I started with a used playset formula because I like the small measurements. But after a couple months, I wanted more customization options, and those belt tensioner reviews on YouTube also looked kinda nice. So I sold it again with a small profit and built this aluminum rig instead, which my next video will actually be about, just in case you're interested in setups and sim rigs. But honestly, it's not always that smooth. This Baku seat is actually my second seat on this rig. The first one just didn't fit me properly. I checked the measurements before I bought the seat, but there's a difference between theory and reality, and comfort can't be written on paper. That's why I sold the first seat with a loss again. So yes, SimRacing is not a cheap hobby, but if you know what you are doing and you truly appreciate what you have, in my opinion, which nobody cares about, it's more than okay to spend money on something that genuinely adds value to your life. Speaking of things that add value to my life, I love model cars, but my two BMWs are getting kinda old and one of them lost its wing in a massive accident, so I reached out to CK Model Cars and they were actually kind enough to send me two GT3 models. I'm not getting paid or anything, I just thought it's cool to show you guys different models from time to time. This one is the Falcon Motorsport Porsche 911 992 GT3R from the 2024 Nürburgring 24-hour race. I will show the other car in the next video to keep some variety, and if you think that's just a cheap way to get people excited for my next video, that's absolutely true. So if the videos are trash, at least the cars are fire, right? Okay. In case you want to start sim racing in a competitive simulation, let me tell you what you should expect. First of all, you will suck. You will spin, you will crash, you will ruin someone else's race and someone will ruin yours. And at some point you will sit there thinking, why did I spend all this money for this? Or even worse, someone will scream that from the kitchen. And that's normal, because even if you think,
I can drive a car, I have a driving license.
Let me tell you, driving a car and racing a car are two completely different things. Driving fast means literally balancing the car on the edge of control. Doing that fast and consistently with other drivers around you is an art. You will watch someone casually throw the car around and think,
yeah, I can do that.
No, you can't. It will humble you big time. And there is beauty in that. If you can stay above the frustration, you will realize something important. Success in racing doesn't come from forcing it. You have to flow with it and let success come to you. And that's when sim racing becomes addictive. Not in a one more race way, but in a I want to get better way. So should you start sim racing? If you love gaming, yes. If you love cars, yes. If you like getting humbled and like to develop new skills, definitely yes. It can be frustrating, expensive and time consuming, but it's also one of the most satisfying hobbies that I ever had. And now I will announce the winner of the Morednes gloves giveaway from last video, but before that, I have to say that I genuinely felt bad choosing just one person. There are so many good and nice comments that feels like I'm letting everyone down except one person. So that's why I actually decided to pick two winners and each one gets one glove. No, but seriously, thank you for all the comments. I already have a really cool idea for the next giveaway, and with the way this channel is growing right now, that probably will happen sooner than you might think. So this is the winner. Thanks for the kind words in the first video as well. Check your messages and I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I hope I will see you in the next one.